did it to my cousin before, I can definitely pierce your ears. It hurts for like a second. Just let me do it.
My daughter just got her ears pierced, and that didn't go great. I'm a little nervous.
A wuss. It'll just take a second. Come on.
I mean, the amount
let me
of
just
tears.
Just let me do it.
The amount of tears when she got her ears pierced, and I'm way more of a baby than my 7-year-old daughter.
Let me go get my thing. I'll come back. We'll do it in a second. It'll just take a second.
Here's
come on. No. Come on.
All right. I don't know.
All right. I'm just gonna jab a hole in your ear, and we're gonna stick a fucking piercing.
That?
Yeah. Well, that's what I used.
Oh, fuck this. I'm out of here.
What do you mean? Where are you going? I used it when I did my junk. It worked out pretty well. It didn't work out very well. Man, I missed that thing. My dick. Ian, tonight we watched Piercing, directed by Nicolas Pesce, I'm not sure. But I'm familiar with his previous film.
Oh, are you?
Eyes of the Mother.
How was that?
It was good. It was a very dark and off-putting movie. It was shot in black and white. But this is also written by Ryu Murakami, which is the guy who did a movie called Audition, or the story's based on that, which is also like a very unsettling horror movie.
Okay.
All right, so Piercing just came out last week. Ian, what is it about?
So I think this is another one. It's been a while since we've talked about expectations going in before we even got into what it was about.
Okay.
This is one due for that kind of a discussion because this movie was on our article that appeared on our website of movies to look forward to in 2019.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay.
So definitely this is one we were both looking forward to, I think. The trailer looked really interesting despite a apparently very simple story. Kind of businessman gets a hotel, wants to kill a hooker. Yawn. I'm bored by the premise so hard. But the trailer was amazing. It looked awesome, really kind of spoke to a very unique visual style, and that there was more going on than the description led on.
Yeah.
So I was definitely expecting much more than that simple premise gave me. So I was really looking forward to this one. Safe to say you're in the same boat?
Yeah.
And that does pretty much sum up this movie. Businessman wants to kill a hooker, things don't go as planned.
Yeah.
Things get difficult and complicated, and it's a really stunning, beautiful movie in many ways.
This movie, to me, is like if you took David Cronenberg, David Lynch, Dario Argento, and a little Tarantino, and you threw it all in a blender, and then you drank it as if it was some sort of smoothie. This is what that movie is.
Okay.
Because there's like influences from all those people. Like you have the Lynchian.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Some of the settings look kind of Lynchian and also very surreal stuff.
I think because it feels very stylistic but a little off of what you'd expect.
Yeah.
Like that's where the Tarantino comes in, I think.
Yeah, some of the editing for me is what felt Tarantino.
Okay.
And then the Argento stuff, because there's very much Giallo stuff going on in this movie, especially with the music. There's goblins on the soundtrack. And some of the just like the visual style as well is very Giallo-esque, I think.
I think so too. But I think definitely like the setting struck me as very much like a marriage of like Japanese and Scandinavian influences, which gave it a very unique look. It was almost like if IKEA and some Japanese designers got together to create a set for a hotel for a movie. That's kind of what it felt like.
It's like if IKEA started making sushi and it was like you had to build it yourself and it was all square.
Okay.
I don't know where I'm going with this.
It's your new catchphrase.
And their sushi is like filled with meatballs, and they're like, "This is the weirdest fucking sushi ever."
Sure.
But I would eat it because it sounds delicious. Kind of like this movie. I really enjoyed this movie for the most part.
Okay.
That being said, it's very.
I guess that doesn't surprise me because you definitely are more into visuals than I am, whereas I'm more into story.
That's kind of where I'm let down with this movie. It's all surface, the story. Everything's surface. There's a lot of cool stuff going on between the characters back and forth with like power dynamics and stuff like that that keeps the movie entertaining. And I was kind of interested in seeing where it goes. Yeah. And then the whole movie just kind of built up to a punchline. Afterwards, I was a little disappointed that I never really got anything from the story.
Yeah. This definitely wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting a very like stylistic, hyper-violent kind of a battle of wills, but also like a physical confrontation. There was elements of that for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily mad that I didn't get that, but it also I don't feel like I understood what I got.
Yeah.
Because there's really no character arc to any of the characters. And I also never understood the motivations for any of the characters.
Right.
Like, I basically understood he wanted to kill a hooker, but it never really became clear what the inciting incident...
There's hints at that.
There's hints that he's had a troubled past, and
Yes.
he's, like, reliving that, but it's not clear what makes him who he is.
Well, some of that storytelling, maybe because it's played up in such a surreal way, like the movie opens with miniatures very clearly. They're not made to look real, they're made to look fake buildings, and it cuts back to them occasionally. It kind of like sets the viewer already aware that this is not the real world, it's somewhere in between. Do you know what I mean?
I thought the whole time I was a little puzzled about motivations, but I kept waiting for some revelation, some scene where a character reveals something about themselves or their motivations or their past that would help shed some more light on why they've done all the things that they've done, making a rewatch a little bit more rewarding.
Yeah.
But now that I've seen the whole thing, I'm like, I just don't know what any of that. I don't feel like I learned anything about these characters.
So during the viewing, though, you were enjoying it?
I was enjoying the ride with the expectation of getting somewhere.
Okay, and when you got to
nowhere,
the end, you were a little befuddled?
Yeah.
Not disappointed, though? Or?
It was... Everything I saw was only worth it if it was building towards something.
Oh, okay.
You know? For the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some interesting scenes with some good gore, but very minimal. Not gore is the wrong word for it, but there's definitely some violent
There's
stuff
some
that was
tension.
interesting.
There's interesting scenes.
But it was undercut by the fact that I'm like, I don't understand what this woman's motivation is. I don't know why she's doing any of the things she's doing. And even same for the main male protagonist, Reed. I never really knew what his endgame was here. And his whole strategy seemed dumb, which I could put aside if I was engaged in the story.
A bit of a love story here, too. You have these like heartfelt moments, and it's just two people who have expectations for their relationship. Like, he has expectations for the night because he plays out the whole murder scene in his head. He
not just in his head.
Yeah,
like he is very methodical, almost autistic is probably the wrong word for it, but he's almost like he's very neurotic, and he's like literally, practicing the motions of stuff and like timing out things. Like, he's clearly has a very specific expectation for how every individual moment's going to go. You're right, and then it doesn't go that way.
And just like every scene in this movie is kind of circular, where the power flips back and forth between them. But
setting that up then makes me wonder, okay, is he growing by learning to be more impulsive? Was that supposed to be? No. But I don't think that's not something that actually comes through.
Right, there's no arc.
Yeah.
There's definitely no
arc.
If
this was a romantic comedy, like totally setting all that up in the beginning where he's very meticulously plotting out his whole evening, then yeah, absolutely, like he's going to have to learn how to roll with the punches a little more. That's his arc. That's absolutely not what I drew from this.
Yeah, it's superficial.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed the movie for what it was. I do wish in the end it had something.
Yeah, I had much higher expectations for this movie, and it was definitely a big letdown for me.
Okay.
So, was it bad? No, it just didn't do anything for me. Fans of bigger budget horror would be interested to know that this director is going to be directing the Grudge remake that comes out next year. So maybe if you're curious to see what he has to offer if you're a big fan of The Grudge and want to see if this is something to look out for, then maybe this is a good bellwether for you.
The Grudge. Is that the one with the cat boy? He opens his mouth and it makes like cat noises. And Sarah Michelle Gellar climbs out of a TV and then goes into a well.
I feel like that was a different one.
And then the guy calls on the phone and says, 7 days! And then
I think you're
Jigsaw shows up and puts him in a torture room.
And yes, all of that's true.
Okay. I
think you were mixing up The Grudge
Jessica
and
Alba loses her eyes so she can see ghosts, but she doesn't see him because she's blind. But then at the end,
I don't know where
she
you're
gets
going
new
with this.
eyes, so then she sees ghosts, but then the glass kills her eyes. She's like, my eyes, they're killed again, but then she can't see the ghosts anymore. And that is The Grudge. There you go. Don't even need to see the new one. Summed it right up for you.
That's how I feel about piercing.
I mean, that is interesting, though, that it does play with, like, a typical storyline you've heard of, like, guy who's a serial killer. You know,
And
like
his wife doesn't know anything.
But then it keeps flipping the expectations, and even
Yeah.
around where like you think, oh, she knows he's gonna kill her, and she's actually a serial. You know, those kind. Like you could see
Yeah.
a flip coming, but then it flips again and it flips again, and it just keeps like your expectations for what's gonna happen, kind of like you're all over the place, and then
Or
it
at least-
leads to like a surrealistically crazy dream sequence that sort of brings some more information in, and then the movie ends on a joke, and it's like.
Not so much a joke as it is a callback.
It's pretty funny though.
It's quirky more than it's funny.
What does quirky mean?
Cute.
Like me.
Yeah.
I'm quirky.
Yeah.
That's my new nickname.
Yeah.
Dr. Quirky, MD.
But then I also kept waiting for the reveal that Jackie's character, the prostitute, we're going to find out she had
She's
some
actually-
master
yeah.
plan. You know, when she first arrives, she makes a call. In the scene, you're presuming to her pimp. But I'm thinking, oh, that's actually not what it is. She's setting something up. She's trying to lure him into a trap. She has some grand plan or strategy or goal. But she really doesn't.
I wonder if the book
It's all just
explains any of this with the characters.
I couldn't possibly care enough to find out.
Glowing recommendation. All right, well, that's going to do it for Piercing. Check it out. I say.
Or
Ian
don't.
says don't. But, you know, what are you going to do?
You know, whatever.
You could do worse.
You do you. Don't listen to us.
Yeah, what the
What do we
fuck
know
are you
about
doing?
movies?
I don't know.
You don't even know how to pronounce the director's name.
I don't even know how to. Yeah. Did you see on that one video we did? Was it Suspiria? I got somebody's name wrong. But luckily, people on YouTube told me that I pronounced the name wrong and that I'm an asshole. That's gonna do it for Piercing. If you
Give
like
us a
it,
like, get a comment down there.
do all that. Type some stuff. You know what? You don't even have to write about the movie. Just start typing.
Yeah.
Like whatever.
Critique our pronunciations.
Yeah, do that. I just got a text message, so I think we should just end this.
So did